This conference will now be recorded.
Right. We're going to see today what are the load balancer, how load balancer works, why we need to know load balancer as a SQL DBA, because AG works with the load balancer. We need to know how the load balancer functions, how we can create it, because we do all of that basically. So just try to follow it. So virtual networks, create a virtual network. So then I'm just creating the resource group on the fly, as I don't have it. Generally, you don't create like this, but it will be there. You'll claim whatever you have it. Here, I'm just creating it. Then I'll call it as LBVNet, something. Then I'm going to do in West India, this thing, and IP address. What is IP address I need? One of the IP address, which should be part of the private IP segment. So we discussed what are the private IPs, right, in detail. 172 dot maybe 22.0.0/16, and I'm going to define one subnet. One is enough for us. Subnet 1, and the subnet address should be fall under that network address. So 172.22.1.0/24. Okay, fine. I'm creating this network, and I'll create one energy also to control what comes in, what goes out. We can control through the energy, right? That we have seen yesterday. So subnet 1 energy and West India. Right, so now I'll go and integrate that with the subnet, the energy what we have created. Now we'll deploy the VMs. We need 3 VMs, but here we're going to form a load balancer. So load balancer act like a, like interface to in the background. What happens? Let's quickly tell you this, what we are trying to do. So we have internal load balancer, like all internal applications can connect. And then behind the load balancer, you'll have a multiple web servers, and this multiple web server will in turn will connect to the database servers. So all internal applications like your portal, office portal, everybody will have, right? This load balancer, what it does, it will route your traffic to all the, web servers in the background. They in turn will connect to the database server. So now this load balancer is an interface for people who are connecting, but in the background, multiple servers are serving the purpose. So these are all doing the same job. So whenever we configure more than one server which does the same job, you have to keep them under availability set, I said. Okay, so that will give a protection. When you create the server under availability set, the machine availability is 99%, 99.9979 they are claiming it. So your downtime of the machine is zero, almost 99.759 total. So your downtime is very low, probability will be there when you keep the servers under availability set. So now I'm going to form the load balancer which runs behind the load balancer, and all the servers which will do the same job. So in that case, we want to join the servers to the availability set. What is availability set again? It is protect against the unexpected events and planned events both. So now I'll just create three VMs, two VMs for the load balancer, one for the verification purpose. A web VM01, and here availability set. I'm going to create availability set web AV set.
Sir, unexpected event means like reboots, sudden reboots, and patching. Is it right?
Maybe like the rack itself is not responding. Maybe power cable plugged out and the network cable is damaged. Whatsoever, the communication with the rack is lost. You still have another server in another rack. At least physically, we are separating it, right? So
Yes.
physically, we are spreading the servers. If one rack is down, at least some servers are another server, other rack will serve the purpose. You don't see the entire downtime. That's the point here. So now Windows Server, we know Azure Spot instance. I'm going with the 2 CPUs, 4 GB RAM, and I'm just adding the password. I no need to add this ports at all. Everything should go through the NSG. So now I'm going to go and claim the VNet, subnet, and web IP fine, which are fine, absolutely fine. So I'm going to create this. Two VMs I'm going to create under availability set, one without availability set. One is a verification VM, how load balancer in fact works. Right, I'm going to create one more VM. Web VM02, and this should go under availability set that we already created. It must be part of the same, then only get the availability of that VM. We discussed good amount of time on the availability set, like update domain, fault domain. Right, so now I'll always be none uh, disks here. Networking will be okay as usual. Review and create. Now I'm going to create a next VM, which is a verification VM for us. It no need to be part of the availability set, just a VM03. This is going to be used as a verification how load balancer really function, right? None. And disk always go the standard. Networking is going in the same network anyway. Any
Ravinder,
question?
for this server, no need to add to availability set.
No, this is a verification VM. We're not
Uh,
adding this into load balancer. Just to, we need to know that how the load balancer actually getting the response through the backend servers in a round robin fashion. We wanted to verify it.
okay.
Fine, the first one is running. So let me connect to this.
I think we need to add the double 3 again.
Right. Yes, I'm just let it through there. Well, then I'll join that port. See, no VM we can connect. Not only this, other VMs also we cannot connect. So you just go to the NSG and the inbound you have to add the port, that RDP port. So I'm adding straight away without any filter. I mean, I can add only for my IP. It is possible. I can select and I'm keeping any for now. We know all of this now how it works, right? Now with this rule, I can talk to all the VMs, right? This energy is tagged with the subnet on all the VMs under the subnet can communicate on the RDP port because you open the port at the subnet layer with the energy. This was the entire discussion we had yesterday and day after day before yesterday, right? Right, fine. Now next, I'll go to connect to this. Right, let's. This one also running good. Right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to first disable the enhanced security configuration. Then I'm going to install a web component to the server, IA services. It's not ready yet. Yeah, these OSs are still loading. Right, so now here, so when we install web services on the C drive, it will build a drive called inetpub. Whenever you see the inetpub directory in C drive, that means that there is a IA services implemented on that server, which is equivalent to, it's like a web server. So I'm selecting the IA services, hit next, 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 install. So I'll do the same thing on this server. Right, so let this get created. Right, the load balancer. Let's go to the load balancer. One thing, okay, let's show me there and then talk over here. There's something called load balancer service. Right, I'm trying to create the load balancer. Load balancer is of two types, in fact. We have internal load balancer, and this one is external load balancer, which is public. So here, there's something called IP skew. I did not talk about this, right? IP skew is something is very, very important for knowing if you have a load balancer, the machine's IP, based on the machine IP, you have to define the skew. If the skew goes wrong, then load balancer will not route the traffic. So how do I know the what is the skew of the IP in each machine? By default, every machine will created every machine will be created under the basic skew. Let me quickly show this. I did not talk about this, but I'll just fill it, right? Then, right, so now here in the networking tab, if you look at here, there is a public IP, right? If you look at here, by default, it's a basics queue. If the machines are created under basics queue, the load balancer also should be in the basics queue. Okay. If it is you created the IP in the standards queue, then you should go there also standards queue. So the SKU networks are different. Basic SKU network is different. Standard network is different. Standard network always for the production. Basic network is cheap, basically in terms of cost. And under basic only, you'll find dynamic and static. If it is a standard SKU, you don't have a dynamic and static. By default, IP is static only. It never change. As long as you don't destroy the VM, the IP never lose from the VM. Okay. So now basic SKU by default, every VM will get created under the basic IP SKU, public IP, what we are trying to talk here on the VM side. So by default, it is a basic SKU. So that's the reason when we are creating the load balancer for our case is a basic SKU when we are creating it. We need to claim that because we did not explicitly selected the standard, so it does not pick this that standard SKU. So I'll keep it as internal LB, internal load balancer kind of. I'll select the basic SKU because you created the VM under basic SKU. Okay. Microsoft recommends standard SKU load balancer for production workload. This is what I was referring. If the VMs got created in the standard SKU, then load balancer also will go to the standard SKU. If the VMs created in the basic SKU, then the load balancer also should be in the basic SKU to have the routing. If you do the wrong one, it does not route. It does not know. Type internal load balancer what we are trying to configure. Right. So regional is fine. So now what I'm going to do, hit next. What is a front end IP you wanted to allocate? You wanted to add one front end IP from the existing subnet. So IP name is internal IP. Just you can give any name, internal IP. And you wanted a dynamic IP from this subnet, or else you wanted to give a static IP. I wanted to give a static IP from this network. Okay. So 172.22.1.4, right? 1.4 is already claimed by VM01. 5 is claimed by VM02. 6 is claimed by VM03. 7 I can take it. See, it is detecting it. It detects the IP assignment also by default, but there are few services which won't detect. Like you create a AG listener, you create some access point, and you give the IP to the access point. That kind of IPs it won't detect, but the physical machine IPs are detected. So if you define a subnet, you created multiple machines, and the IPs are already given to the machine. If you're trying to claim the same IP which is being taken by the machines, it will detect and tell you that this IP is being used. So if you look at this IP is being used. It is saying that network interface VM03. If I go to the 5, uh, what was that 5? It is being taken by web VM02, the web interface. Like for which VM also it took, it is giving that name for us. So anyway, I'll go with the 10, make it cap. So add it. We are adding an IP. This is IP people will hit it to connect. Okay. Backend pools, where it has to route the traffic. What are the servers we have to send the traffic to all the servers, right? So add backend pool. So backend pool, you can give any name, it doesn't matter. I'm giving the backend pool itself. And VMs, what are the VMs we do have in the backend? We assign, we are creating these two VMs for the load balancer. Okay. I'm selecting both the VMs which we created for the load balancer, right? And then add them. Two machines got added. Inbound rules, we don't need it. It's internal load balancer. You don't need unless until you wanted to block some network not to enter the load balancer and read or generate the traffic kind of. You don't need inbound, outbound, you don't need internal, you don't need to worry. External, we had to worry. We'll talk about that. Tagging, we will see separately. And I'm creating the internal load balancer. This is the internal load balancer, what we are creating right now. Create
So
it.
for load balancing, the requirement everyone should be under our same availability set, right?
Yes. The load balancer, the VMs, whatever you add in the backend pool, they must be part of the availability set. That's correct. So now it is getting created. When it is getting created, if I go and verify, okay, this got installed, and here also this got installed, good enough. So now if you go and verify, there is a web page will be loaded with IP CMD. One 172.22.1.4. If I try to browse that IP from the browser, it will get a response 172 dot 172.22.1.4. You get the response because there is a web service installed on this, else you don't get that response. Here also IP config, so it is 1.5, right? So if I go and hit it that IP, I'll get the one of the web page response here also. 172.22.1.5. You get the response. But the response is default page. Here also default page, here also default page. How do I know that the difference? I don't know, but that's the reason I'm going to go inetpub folder under root directory. This is the image it is loading actually. So I'll add some text to it to identify which machine is giving the response to us, right? So this is a web VM01 web server response something. I'm just adding some text to identify. Maybe 20, right? Saving it. Now if I close this one and if I reload the page, I'll get that text on that. I'll do the same thing on this one. So this is how you identify and understand how like load balancer is really working. So the differentiation must be there. This is a web VM02 web server response. Come on. Right. So I'm saving it and then reload that page. You get that on the page. Now, if I'm trying to call that IP, so I don't have web services installed on this machine. You can see that there is no inetpub folder. And if I'm trying to call the IP, will it respond with any page? No, as that there is no web service installed on this machine, it does not do the response. So let's quickly do that. 170.20.1.6. So here, if I'm trying to call that IP, what I have on this machine, it won't respond with any page. This is the reason behind this. We did not install a web component on this, right? 1.6. So it will go to the Google, it will try to look for that IP and something. Here it is going to the Google. There is no service. But if I give 172.22.1.4, it gives a response. Come on, I need to disable this. The message, blocking message will keep coming in if I 172.22.1.4, it will get the response. See, one VM01. If I give it 5, I'll get the VM02 clearly. So because there is a web services installed on those two machines, that's why it is responding with the web page. So now we created a load balancer, right? If I click on the load balancer, we have the front end IP to hit it, and we have the backend pools. We need to create the health prop. So how does load balancer knows that one machine is down? So when there are machines to route the traffic to the load balancer, so how does load balancer also knows that this machine is up and running? So I'm sending a transaction or a request. It has to go to this server, this server, this server, depends on the number of calls you are making it. But how does load balancer know that this server is down before it's sending the traffic? There is a health probe, you must add it. Go to the health prop, it has to verify the machine status before it send a traffic, right? So else user will get the error. So it is going and every 5 seconds verifying the machine status. If the machine is down, it won't send the traffic to that machine anymore. It has to do the iterative health check frequently so that it knows that which VMs are up, which VMs are down, and where to send the traffic. It need to keep track of every VM that it has in the background. So this is a health prop which will be taken care every 5 minutes it does, and 2 consecutive failures will make the node as a dead node in the pool. If the VM is not responding 2 consecutive cycles, 10 seconds, then it will make the VM actually a dead VM by doing the health prop. On the port number 80, because we are using the HTTP traffic. If it is HTTPS 443, the port where it has to, it will poll the website. That's it. It will poll the website on the server. What are the VM you have it? It goes to the VM on the port number 80. Is it responding the website or not? It will just verify it. We will see that. And the load balancing rules. This must be added. Go to the load balancing rules, add it. So here LB rules, you can give any name, doesn't matter. And what is the front end IP? We kept 172.22.1.0, and backend pool also we added already 2 VMs to that. And port, on the what port web server is listening, that you must add it. If it is SQL Server 1433 here. Health prob also we created. We just don't do anything. We just select whatever we created. This is the rule set. It must be there. If I try to call the IP from here 172.22.1.10, that is a load balancer IP, right? It does not give the response yet because we did not give the load balancer rules yet. The rule only will route the traffic. So this IP is not getting any response. So now what I have to do? I have to select all of that LB rules, what are just giving a name, and I'm selecting the front end IP. I'm selecting the backend pool. This rule set only will route the traffic actually, in fact. This is where the final load balancer configuration will sit. Basically, we are calling the backend pool, we are calling the front end IP, we are calling the health prop, we are calling the port. Everything is a consolidation. This must be configured. This must be configured. Okay. So now
What are the two ports, port and backend port? What is the difference there?
port backend port. If you have any port, like in the front end you are calling something, in the backend you are redirecting the traffic to some other port, you can change the ports. But here both are same. There is no difference. So front end backend port means in the front end you are hitting something, in the backend you are transferring the traffic to on some other port. Maybe if that is the case, then you go for the different ports here. Generally, it will be same for every product. Now this floating IP, this must be enabled if you are configuring this load balancer for the always on group. SQL Server always on group. So this we will talk again when we configure the always on group with the cloud VMs. We have a discussion. I'm going to build a domain server. I'm going to join the servers to the domain server. I'm going to run through right from the scratch to complete configuration, how we can configure it. So there we will come back to the same configuration, except this one should be enabled for the this option itself is given for the always on. Floating IP concept is given only for the always on, not for other things. Okay, so now I'm going to disable because it's not always on VM, always on load balancer. For now I'm just creating normal load balancer, disabled. Add it. Now load balancer rules have been allocated. Now the load balancer IP will respond. We'll see that. I'll create next external load balancer. You all can verify, in fact. Right, it is done. So now if I go and call that IP, what I was calling before, it should respond. See, it has started responding with that IP. If I refresh the browser, have a close look at here. This is a web server VM01 response. If I refresh, this is a web server VM02 response. You see this one? One request will go to VM01, one request will go to VM02. That's how it does the job. So I kept this text just to make you realize how the load balancer works. First request went to the VM01, second request went to the VM02. So you keep hitting it, it'll keep changing the server basically. Okay, so if I go on internet options, I'll clear the browsing history again and then apply. So now if I refresh this one, I got the VM01 response. If I refresh again, I got the VM02 response. See this? You guys following? Yes or no? So load balancer means what? Whatever the traffic it comes, it will distribute the traffic to all the backend servers. All the backend servers. It does not flood one server. The load balancer name itself is saying that it's balancing the load among multiple machines behind the load balancer. That is what you're seeing here. You are verifying it. VM01, VM02, VM01, VM02. It does the round robin fashion. One request will go to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. It goes in the round robin fashion, the request movement. Okay. So you are not flooding one machine. All the machines are taking the load behind the load balancer. You guys following? Say something. Now, let's do the external load balancer. You all can verify and realize how really works. So I'm going to create one more load balancer here called external load balancer. I'll call it as external LB. The name does not matter anyway. You can give any name. So this is a basic queue. Again, I'm going to pick up the same machines. Okay. And this time I'm choosing the public IP. It will add a public IP to the load balancer. Instead of I gave 170.20.1.10 for internal load balancer. Here I don't need to give an IP. The IP is a public IP by default. Okay, fine. Hit next. The front end IP configuration, how it has to be. This is something is a public IP, front end IP. It should be what IP you wanted. Wanted to create an IP, that IP should be static and the name is front-end IP. We are giving a name for it, nothing else. It will give an IP. So click it. It is a static IP. It will create it with front-end IP name. It will add the IP anyway on its own. You don't have to worry. So it will get the IP when it is created. We'll see that. Backend pool again. I'll add the same VMs because I don't want to create another set of VMs for this. We already created. We did everything. So backend pool one something. And here the network, local network where it has to integrate LB VNet what we created, and a virtual machines, two machines again, sorry, not this one, these two, right? Add it. Here, inbound rules. This is important. In the inbound, do you wanted to allow whom? Whom you wanted to allow? From the external world, because it's an external load balance, right? External means here and everything is inside the company network. Now things are different. Things are actually outside the company now. Okay, now I have the here, the people are calling the website from the outside and the load balancer inside the company. Behind the load balancer, you have the web servers and database server is here. Now you're calling the load balancer from the external world. This is why you need a public IP here. It is external, right? This public IP again, this all will listen in the backend only, backend network. This is only the one which will get exposed to the external world, right? So when you are accepting the traffic here, it is going through the energy. This energy will verify the traffic. Are you allowed or not? So here I don't know all of your public IP, so I'm going to add a rule. The rule should accept everyone. Okay, so LB rule. I don't have to give it. I'll give it at the network layer where it is getting integrated. There also we can give it. Okay, port backend, port health probe. We don't need to add this thing in the inbound here. We can add at the energy level, which is fine. We'll see there. You cannot connect. I'll make you connect, all of you. Review and create. I did not add any inbound ports, but so you cannot access. But I'll add a port at the energy level that will allow us to talk, all of us. Because that rule applies to every VM in the background, right? Because this load balancer also integrated with the local network. Right, now you have the front end IP is a public IP. This is a public IP. I'll paste this IP in the chart. Right now, this public IP, oh sorry, does not have any, like service listening on that. You can hit that IP, you don't get anything. Okay, you don't get anything. Even if I hit also this one, I don't get any service response because we did not finish the configuration yet. So now backend pools, we have two VMs and the health probe must be configured. So name can be anything. Let it be as it is, TCP and port number 80 because we have configured the HTTP site. And for two consecutive failures, it should be dead node. Now this time I'll stop the web component. We'll verify it in detail. Don't worry. How health probe work, I'll prove it. Load balancing rules. Here also the things are same absolutely. Just give any name. And front-end IP what we given and backend pool what we have given to this, and you see port is 80 itself. Here also port is 80 itself and health prop which is created, right? That's it. That's it, the load balancing. Now if I do this, it should respond. That public IP should respond, but it does not have any service as of now because there is no rule which is allowing my IP to talk to that on the port number 80. Right, so still creating it. Right, so now if you look at this is been configured, this should work as expected actually. This should work now, but the reason being it is not working, we are coming through the external network and the external network is not allowed to hit the port number 80. I'll go to the energy and I'll create a rule in the inbound to enter into the VM. So I'm going to create a rule any port number 80 where I wanted to allow any traffic from anywhere. So now I'm creating a rule. This rule will let us to get into the port number 80 on the entire subnet. So I'm calling this public IP where we have services listening. Two VMs are there which are serving the web server on the port number 80. Now I'll get the response. See? Right. Can all of you verify this? Some people should get VM01, some people should get VM02. Please just hit that IP and give paste the response in the chat. So load balancer means load balancer. It has to distribute VM02, VM01. Good. So can everybody hit it and paste it? I got VM01, VM02 Adinarayana, and VM01. So I also VM01. Others? Arena also VM01. Yeah, some people should also get VM02. Hit it everyone at the same time so that it does the job well. You all not doing? Okay, Sanjeev VM02. Good. So that's how it is. The response will be distributed. The response will be distributed. As a user, you don't know which server is actually responding to your request because all servers are same in terms of configurations. They are not different. They're identical, in fact. So you just know that you're getting the response to your request, but which server is the request is going through which web server, you don't know. That is a job of load balancer. It routes the traffic to each load balancer. So now what I'll do, I'll go to this server, INET manager, this one internet information manager. I'll switch off the web service on the VM01. We should not do this, but anyway, for our practice sake, I'm stopping the web service. So now it is stopped. VM01 is stopped. You don't get the response from VM01 anymore. All the time VM02 only. Check out. Every time is VM02. Because the load balancer knows that the VM01 is down. Check everyone. Everyone will get the VM02 only now. Yes. All should get VM02. Absolutely. Right? All are getting the VM02. Now if I switch on, you will get the VM01 also. Started. You can check it out. VM02, VM01 also should respond now. Check it out. Some people at least get the VM01 now. So it is up. Actually, it is cached. Problem is cached. Once it caches, it does not go to the site actually. It just load the page from the buffer. It's a bad thing anyway. So to see that VM0, this one is also working, I'll shut down the VM02. That way, sorry. So now if I stop, you should get the response from only VM01. Come on, please. It is cached. That's here. It is cached. Everyone just close your browsers and do the call. It absolutely should go to the VM01 only because VM02 is down. What? I stopped it. Everybody should are getting VM01. Maybe it is cached for me. VM01. Yes, everybody should get VM01 because switched. Yeah, here I'm getting VM01. Good. So now if I start it again, some people should get VM02 as well. It takes 10 seconds to start taking or giving the load to that new VM once it comes online. Right. So this is how it is. VM01 also I'm getting now. Fine. So now this is how it is, guys. This is how the load balancer works. This is how the like distribution of the traffic can happen. Is it clear to all of you? These are all identical in terms of configuration. Whatever you are hitting, you get the same response. That's how they will be configured. They don't be having a different configurations at different deployments. Everything is same. So whatever the web server gives the response, it is the same. You don't see a difference basically in the background. Is it clear? I'll move to a different topic. I mean, which is called geographic load balancer, which is a little bit of different topics.
Sir, actually, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sir, so while creating subnet inbound rules and port number, by mistakenly I've given a wrong port number. So if I want to edit, is it possible?
You want to edit that?
The inbound rules and port number.
You can. If you give a wrong one, it won't allow the anyway. If I go to here, if I would have given some wrong number 807, if I save it, all the traffic is broken. You can change it any point of time if you give it wrongly. So now I
Okay.
updated the rule. No one can contact this anymore because this port is different. I opened a different port. Now the traffic completely will break. Check it out. It is cached actually. Check out. You don't see the response anymore. All of you, because I updated it. Updated the wrong port, right? So this is cached, it seems, just come on, please. Okay. Check out, guys. You should not get the response. Are you guys getting still? I mean, it takes some time to reflect that rule anyway, but that sometime maybe 30 seconds. You should not. Come on, please. You're not getting the response, right? No. Yeah, that's correct. You should not get the response. The reason being is you opened a wrong port. In fact, the port what it is giving the service on the 80, but you opened 807. You go to the rule, you change the port to the correct one and save it, you'll get the response. You can change the entire rule at any point of time. This we discussed, right? Changing the priorities and changing the things kind of thing, right? This way you can open up. Any questions? If not, I'll configure the geographic load balancer. Let's finish this. This is also useful knowledge for all of you. So create a app service. App service means I can do within the VMs also, with the VMs also, geographic load balancer, but they're not spammed across different regions. I had to create one in the US, one is in India. Then I show that how the traffic grows, to the different regions. So now I don't want to create one more VM for that. I'll use this ready-made service. It's like IA service on the cloud directly without a VM. This is called IA. This is a PaaS service, platform as a service. So create app service. I'm creating it, and resource group is same. I'll call it as India app service. Something. And it need what kind of code you wanted to publish. Maybe I wanted to go with the .NET 5 code and Windows platform where it in the background it deploys operating system, and where I wanted in West India that service to be deployed. India app service, and this is a computing power required for the app. Let it be. That's not big thing. So for us, hit next. Deployment settings, continuous deployment we don't want for now. We just wanted to check how it works. That is the only thing. Monitoring also I don't want. But now I'm just creating it. I'll tell you why I'm creating all of this. This is a too costly one, 5785 per month. Anyway, I can destroy right after the class. It's fine. I'll create one more. Your US web server. And I'm going to select .NET 5 again. Region East US. I'll keep it East US, which is fine. The computing power. Here it is lesser cost. It should be here 5. Okay, it is similar cost almost. 5 to 5. East US. Yeah. One is in India, one in US. The web app services. So now if you open this, there's a URL it will generate to communicate with that app service. This is a URL where you connect. So if I go here, it will load a default web page. This is a web page. So now if I go back to other app service also, come on, it's still doing the job. Okay, let that create. Come on, it's taking too long. It's done. Now it is done. Fine, it got created. Now if I go on this one also, absolutely, this one also will load the default page. Okay. How do I differentiate that which service is giving the response, which server is giving the response? Both are same, you see, there is no difference. So let me change the code. There is a code in this editor, right? App editor here. If I go to the code, generally you don't do all of this. Just for the sake of understanding, I'm doing it. You don't change the code as a DBA, but I know where to change the code kind of. So just for the sake, you need to understand, right? What it is loading. App service developers, this thing, right? Here a lad, it's a US based, right? US. Come on. Okay, it is taking that. Where is that? Hey, app developer. Okay, here it is. Here I can add the extra text. Nothing else. I just add. This is US app server something. So it gets saved automatically. If I hit it is India, it's US. You should get an extra thing. Right. This is US server. This is enough. This will differentiate the connection. For India also, I'll do the same job. I'll change the HTML code. This is HTML code where it is loading this page like that. Saved. Right, now this is enough for us. So now I have created two app services now. Where are the app services? Here. Now there is something called traffic manager. Traffic manager, see, we have seen internal load balancer, we've seen external load balancer. The balancer again, you'll have the backend servers in one region. If I wanted to have the servers in different countries to respond, this is a concept. People use it. Traffic manager. Create a traffic manager. And I'll use traffic manager. Oh, it is available. Good enough. It is available. Now there are multiple things. Let me explain with the diagram. I'll show in practical, don't worry, how it really function. You have a traffic manager, which is a globalized profile. It's not something related to one region. You have India region, you have US region, you have Australia region, as in my case. And India web server, US web server, Australia web server. This is a traffic manager. We'll call it is equivalent to a load balancer basically, but it is given a traffic manager name because it's a global profile. It's a India people are calling the US. It's a region from where the connection is coming from. Australia, as in my case. Here, India web server in India region, and US region, US web server, and Australia region, Australia web server. So there is a routing mechanism which distribute the load. Performance. Performance means if I'm calling a connection from India, it should go to India only because India server for India people will give a better response. Because of some reason, it became busy with a lot of load. So it will poll all the servers, all the available server, it will keep polling it. Whenever India server becomes busy for India connections and it is giving the delayed response, it look for other servers. Other servers giving the quick response, it will send the traffic to other region servers also. What matters is quicker performance, quicker response. Under performance routing, it is called routing mechanism. Performance routing, which server giving the response, which is quickest responding to the in the background. It can be India people can go to US and getting the response faster. Their traffic will be served by the US server, not by India, because this is giving the quick response than India server, because India server is already flooded with the request. During India daytime, India people will do the business. India people are flooding the India server a lot. During the night, there is no, during the our time, during the US night time, they don't do any business much. So the servers are not processing much requests. So I'm taking the power of this server also by redirecting my workload, because you're trying to utilize all the servers everywhere all the time. Because India, you are using your daytime will be their night time. India servers are flooded during the India daytime. I'll take the computing power of US server also, because the servers are idle, they can give a better response when these are busy. So this is called performance. The traffic can go to any region to get the better response. It doesn't matter where you are basically. Wide. Wide anyway is a traditional load balancer. All will have a priority one. All will have the same priority. All requests you receive, it will go in the round robin. One India, one US, one Australia, like that. We will see this in practical. Wade is not good. We don't use it. It is like a traditional load balancer. Priority also not good. Only performance is good, I would say. Priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. What happens in this case? All the connection from all the region will go to India only first, because priority India 1 is getting the priority 1. If the India server is busy, then it will go to priority 2 servers. If the priority 2 server is busy, then it will go to priority 3 servers. So where the traffic coming from does not matter. What matters is a priority only. Priority matters. That's something not good. And the last one is a geography. This is a great thing. You wanted to serve India traffic to India web server only, US traffic to US only, Australia to Australia only, region specific. You are going to define the conditions. Okay. These are the 4 routing mechanisms we are going to see. I'm going to go with the performance for now. The resource group is this. It is not asking the location. It's a global profile. It is a global profile by default. So now I'm creating this traffic manager. This name is available. Maybe I'll add some extra thing. Maybe if it is after the creation, if it says that not available, it will be a problem. I'm creating this performance. Create it. So simple. Give a name, routing mechanism, and the resource group. That's it. Let me show how it works. It is very interesting actually. It's created already, but it is taking time to show. right? If I go to here, it will also give a URL. In fact, this is a URL I'm going to give you all of you to verify it. So I'll keep in the chart the URL. If I give this URL, if you are hitting this URL, basically you don't get the response yet, any response with that name. The reason being is there is nothing behind that URL. Basically, I'm going to tag. How do I tag? I'm going to go endpoints. It's like a web server load balancer and adding the load balancer servers into the pool kind of thing. Go to endpoint. I'm adding the India web server first. Azure endpoint. It's Azure endpoint, external point, nested Azure endpoint. Okay. Endpoint is Azure endpoint. Okay. App service. We need to get app. Here it is, app service. Right. Endpoint should be app service. I'm going to add India web server, the name. So the India web server I'm adding here. Okay. So add it. Now I should get the response with that as soon as I add it. Right. See, India web app service. Now I'm going to add US also. Endpoint app service. US web server. Here I'll choose the US web server and add it. Now US guys will get US server response, India guys should get India response, because though it is a performance, there is no too much of load on the server. So all India people should get India, and US guys should get US. So check out Harni, Sai, and Abhilash. Three of you from US, right? So just check it out. Abhilash, Sai, and Harni. Just check it out. You all get US, and the rest should get India. Check out all of you. You guys checking? Just hit the URL what I pasted. Just post the response. This is important. You have to verify it. India, Sanjeev, right? So
Yeah, I'm still getting India.
yeah, you should get India only because you're in India. Abhilash got US, yes.
No,
And
I'm in US, but still getting India.
really,
Yes.
no, I should not. If the US get flooded, then you should get. You are hitting this one only, right?
Yes, the one you posted.
Can
Maybe it's
you reheat
cache.
it?
Maybe it is cached or something. Yeah, I did it again.
Close that because I added first India. Maybe that time you hit it and it could have been
Correct.
cached out. Close the browser and reopen, or else change the browser. You definitely hit US only because that is the nearest one for you.
Hmm.
In case of VMs for load balancer, you told that they should be in the same availability set, right? But in this case, there is nothing like that.
This is a pass. You never see a downtime on this one. It's not running on the VM. It is running on the cloud straight away. So this will not go down. So this no availability applies to PaaS services. There is no such thing for the PaaS. PaaS itself will protect the servers.
Okay. But if you have created the same thing on VMs, again the condition will still
Right,
apply.
right. Condition same. That's correct. What you said. Yeah. Sai, did you get India? Sorry, US?
Yeah, I'm still getting India.
Oh, maybe it is cached for sure. It is for sure. Maybe I added the India first, then you would have hit that URL before I added the US. So go to the Internet Explorer or else anywhere and cache that, remove the cache and then reheat it. It works. So now configuration, I'm changing from the performance to wide. This is a traditional load balancer. Let's see. If I do save, so US people also should get India and India people also should get US. It's a round robin fashion. It's a traditional load balancer. You get the weight, equal weight. So traffic can go to anywhere, wherever in the round robin fashion. So if I hit this, I should get India or US, it all matters. Close the browsers, guys. That's a big problem. This caching is very bad. I got US. Yeah, everybody should get, US guys should get India, India guys should get US now. Check it out. Some India guys should get US also. Sanju got US, good. And Sai also got US. And others, US guys should also get India. It is Abhilash, yes, got India. Good. See, this is how it is. So when weighed in the sense that all will get the same priority, all servers will get the same priority here. Anybody, it is not matter of that, where you are from. It is a matter that it's what is the turn, 1 2 3, 1 2 3 something. It does the, like traffic in the round robin fashion. So it doesn't matter from where you are making connection. It matters how many connections are coming, how many connections are distributed among all the servers, where the physically the web server sitting, doesn't matter. So this is how the weighing will work. Next method is, I'll change, this one is interesting, and priority. Whatever gets the more priority, everyone will be routed there first. If that server is flooded, it will go to the next endpoint. Okay, India got the priority one. Everybody should get India now, mostly, because we don't flood that with our connections. Everybody should get India, US, India, everyone. Check it out. Quickly update. It doesn't matter where you are. You all should get India only, because priority one is given to India server. Yes, India. Everyone, in fact. Yes, India. All should get India. Good. All are responding. So all should get India, because I gave the priority to India. India, Karthik also. Yes, everybody should get India. Good. Thanks for that. If you want me to re-verify this, I'll change the priorities if you want. So what I'll do, I'll make the priority to 3 and say, don't hit it. I'll tell you. I'm swapping the priorities now. And this one to US to 1. Not S2. Right. So now US server got the high priority, if you look at. So now everybody, if you hit it, you should go to US server only. Everybody, including mine also. If it is not cached out, everybody should get US. Everybody. That's how it is. The priority works. It is cached for some reason. Yeah, good that you all getting US. Maybe I'll change the browser and hit it. This time it should go to the right one. I should go to the US. See, everyone should go to the US only, because US server got the more priority here. US server got the more priority. Now, what I'm going to do, yes, everybody should get US, in fact, because this got the high priority. Now I'll remove the endpoints. I'll go to the last type of this thing.
Ravinder, who will give the priority here?
You don't need to give the priority. You just go to the configuration, change that priority. It'll apply the priority to each server automatically.
No, no, in general.
It
Now
is
we
up
are
to
creating.
the right,
Yeah.
right. How you can give the priority depends on the business model, business logic. They wanted to change, like during the daytime, India should get the more priority. During the nighttime, they can switch it through the scripts. It is possible, so that the respective regions can receive the traffic.
Okay.
Priority you'll apply. How many servers
Hmm.
you have, based on that, it randomly apply the priority to each server. Based on the priority, if you are giving the priority, it is coming the priority 1 2 3. Oh, this will get flooded, then this will get flooded, then this will get flooded.
Okay.
But priority, if you want to change, you can change it. It does automatically on its own if you don't give it. But whatever it is given, you don't like, you wanted to change, you can change it. So now let's go to the last type of routing, which is called geographic. Geographic is must be deleted and re-added to get that. No endpoint now. Now I am adding the new endpoint as a geographic. So when I have to change this, I have to change the geographic here. Geographic, save it. You must save this. Now when I'm adding it, I'll get the geographics. Previously I was not getting this. Geo mapping I was not getting. Now I'm getting it because I changed the routing mechanism. So now if I look at here, name is India web server, India web server. We are restricting the traffic here. App service, I'm going to choose India, and India people should use only India, Asia, and it comes under Asia, right? And where is India? Here is India. Entire India people should hit here on the India server. There is no option. For a US server, state-wise, we can pick up the traffic, in fact. So I'll go to here. US server here, US server. This is interesting. App service and here US web server. I have to choose the regions. So uh, where you are Sai actually in which state?
California.
California. I'll not select the California. You don't get the response for United States right here. United States and the state here. I'm giving Arizona for some reason. And where you are, Abhilash?
I'm in Georgia.
Georgia. Okay. United States and I'll give Georgia here. For him, he get the response. We can filter the traffic state-wise for US especially. That is available for US region, Georgia. You will get the response. And third region is uh, where you are, Harni, actually in which state?
In Georgia.
Okay. So okay, fine. I need to add this third one in that case. So 2 is enough. So I'm adding this. So Sai cannot access, but Georgia people can access this. Check it out. Only Sai cannot access. Abhilash and Harni can access because they are in the region where I gave the routing. Only it will pick up the traffic from those two states only because I told the system to accept the traffic from those Georgia and what was the other state I gave? Other state is Arizona, right? Can't access. Sai cannot access. Why he cannot access? Abhilash can access. Harni can access. All India can access, in fact. Check it out. This is India again. So now, if at all I wanted Sai to get access, it is from the US only. There is no other option. If I wanted Sai to be access this website, I need to add his location also. So I'll add it. States. California, I said, right? California here. Now, Sai, you can also access it because I added your location, physical location. So it will pick up the traffic from these 3 states only. It does not pick up the traffic other states. We can define where you want to run your website also, basically. Now Sai should access it. Check it out.
It is still not there yet.
Yeah, it takes some time. You should access anyway. If you are in California, it definitely should work. Why? Because that's how system work. California. Takes some time most probably, but it should work. Maybe they change the browsers and all that. Is it working, Sai, for you? It should work
No.
by now. No? Hmm. Come. We added California, right? That's correct. You are on any of the state border, near to border?
No. No, I'm in the Bay Area, not in the border.
Not in the border, then it should work for you, I guess. That's how it is. So this is how region-wise traffic can be divided, guys. If at all you wanted to divide the traffic region-wise, region to region only, not to other region at all, and that too in Asia country, I wanted to operate my website in India and maybe another country also. I can choose that. In Asia, again, I wanted to send this traffic. Anybody other than India, other than US here in the class? Any other country? No one.
Actually, Ravi, you
Mm,
can use this URL I posted.
mm,
Uh, you can open that and paste the website URL there.
mm.
Then it will show how it appears in different countries.
It's okay, but here the you're not able to still access.
Uh, yeah, I was not able to access from my local laptop, but through this website, I was able to see that it's accessing in California. Yeah,
It should actually.
you can
Here.
paste that URL there. Yeah.
Oh, good. You know this thing at least. Okay.
So now it will show you from different countries.
So it is testing for every state. Oh, it is
Every
loading
country,
here.
different countries. Yeah.
It is loading here.
Yeah.
California, Ireland. Oh, you set this to a specific state, the state
No,
actually?
no,
Yes.
no, no. So right now it is working only from California.
Yeah, of course.
Mm,
That's how I designed, right?
Yeah, that's what. And now Singapore, Brazil, and it's all not working.
Okay, very good. This one is very, very good actually. I need this.
Yeah.
So what is this site actually? Let me take it first into Notepad. This will help me maybe further demos. Site is good. Not this one.
GeoPicker.
Okay. Now, as you gave this one, let's verify it further. So
No, add
Virginia is also.
anything.
Uh-huh.
No, add any other country will try. Is
Yeah, that's what. Virginia, I'm adding it. Unable to render the site, right? Virginia, I'll also add it. So go to US, geomapping, United State, Virginia. Where is it? Here it is. Add it. Right, Virginia is also added. Save it. What? Now we have four. Oh, Virginia is not added. The heck? West Virginia. Oh, come on. We have multiple. Oh, but come on. I shouldn't have hit that one, I guess. Virginia, what else we have? Other state here? Brazil we have, right? Brazil comes under you that only, right?
No,
Let's
it's a
do that.
different country actually.
Brazil comes under where?
No, it's a different country. Brazil is a country.
But
Center,
it comes under
I think South
Brazil. Hey, this
America. I
one?
think South
Uh,
America. I think.
United, it's not United.
No, that's in
In I don't
Europe, I
know.
think.
South
That's in
America.
Europe.
North America.
Brazil, South America.
Do you have South America here? United States, that's it. Anyway, wherever it is. So we don't want that. So save it. Whatever it is, however it is. Right. What is added? Let's see. Virgin is added at least. So now if I go and access this, right, this is what I need to just paste the URL, right?
Correct. No.
Here I need
In the GeoPicker site, yeah, that's where you have to.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
It should come from Virginia for sure.
Correct.
That's how it works. See, Virginia is written. Here California also it'll be there anyway. See, like this.
Yep.
So for can I add any more thing here? I mean, only there are few.
I had to explore that site. I used
You did not add this California. It came on its own.
on its own. It came.
But where is India? India is not here.
I think it's a free version gives only limited stuff. I think 6 locations.
Okay.
So you pay
But
$9 per month is 12 locations.
oh my God, I don't want it. But anyway, at least the 6 also, if I select what I wanted, that will be great. If we Singapore comes in Asia only, right? Singapore comes in Asia, right?
Yes.
Let's do that in that case. We have a few minutes time. Let's check with the Singapore in India region, Asia region.
It's not allowing to change the location from the free version. California, Virginia, Australia, Brazil. That's it.
Singapore comes under Asia only. This is good. We have this. This is enough for us. Come on. Just a minute. I should not hit that. Asia, Singapore, that's it. Saving it. So now we got a Singapore region also because it is showing Singapore, right? So let's test that. If it is working, that's enough. It's a good demo if it is really working, right? So now I am picking this. It should work in the Singapore region also because I opened up there. Right, see? It's good. It's a good thing actually. It's really we're testing it. We tested this. Site also is good. This is how you control the traffic from where you want it to pick, where you don't want to pick it. You can give the choices. This is called geographic load balancer. And the geographic side, you can run your site on specific states, specific countries, specific regions. Everything is possible, right? This is wonderful. Absolutely, this is something good, this site. So what I'll do, I'll add it to my favorites. That way I can use it for further things. Yeah. Yeah, of course, it verifying it. It's from the Microsoft or from anywhere. It does the job. So something good to know this, right? Okay. As it is not working for you, you explore this something. So that way it helped all others to understand
Yeah,
this
I
more.
used it before, but I didn't, go through the pricing.
Right. Any questions? We are done with the load balancers. I'm deleting it. Any questions from anyone? So do this thing, guys. Every day you practice and destroy. This must not be avoided. If you do so, you get the bill and you unnecessarily, feel bad for that. Should not do that. I'm stopping the video.